Welcome guys, this is Mia and this is my PE summative assessment. So let's start off with what core values come from sports. So the first core value that comes from sports is teamwork. And teamwork, as Zales shares in her latest article, Power of the Pack, women who support women are more successful back in 2009. The truth is that raising each other up and channeling the power of collaboration is truly how we'll change the equation and have a lot more fun along the way. Through the rough and the smooth, your team should be a safe environment for you to fail together, learn together, and grow together. As my old manager used to put in teamwork makes the dream work. Cheesy, but the statement holds truth. If we work together, we can achieve so much. Teamwork is present through sports because when you're working with the team, you have to be able to communicate and trust your team members and work as a team in order to have the most optimal results. The second most core value that comes from sports is respect. Respect. More than the catchy words of Aretha Franklin's famous song of 1967, a core principle of high-performing teams include respect for our colleagues or teammates. Nurturing a culture of trust, openness, and shared values are imperative to success. Respect is present through sports since we all have to respect one another while we're on the field or playing whatever sport we're playing, because it's a way to avoid conflict. The next core value that arises from sports is enjoyment. According to Simon Sinek, as social animals, enjoyment is a key factor to building relationships and a nurturing, successful team spirit. In his podcast, How Do I Use the Why to Build a Team or Choose Close Relationships back in 2015, he argues that the people we spend time with directly impact the level of enjoyment that we have. If we assume that the statement holds truth, it is evident that not only is it important to enjoy what we are doing, put simply, work harder together and have fun together. The value of enjoyment is present within sports due to the fact that when we're playing a sport, we enjoy the sport, and enjoyment arises from working and collaborating as a team, or getting that enjoyment from winning a game or a match. The next core value that arises from sports is discipline. We could describe this principle as the focused pursuit of a shared vision and goal with an unwavering commitment to achieve this. Without the discipline to work hard, the vision is just a dream. So, how is discipline present within sports? Discipline is present within sports due to the fact that without discipline, you're not being able to play any sport because you're not pushing yourself hard enough to grow as a player, or grow in the sense of showing up to practice and and showing that sense of discipline. The last core value that I included was sportsmanship. According to Collins Dictionary, sportsmanship is behavior and attitude to show respect for the rules of a game and for the other players. Win or lose, the sense of sportsmanship is an attitude and a mindset. It brings with a sense of core values and go beyond I and consider we. Have your teammates back. Create an environment of trust where you can have fun, learn, fail, grow, and win together. Put simply, technical skills are important, however, for lasting success, core shared values are imperative. Sportsmanship is present within sports because sportsmanship can also be demonstrated through how the players in a sport act towards each other. They must be able to take a lose without getting mad and respect the other team. They should also show respect to the other team when playing and avoid disrespecting them to avoid conflict. So, what are some of the personal values that arise from sports? There's discipline, trust, patience, confidence, and leadership skills. Discipline because you have to be able to push yourself to showing up to practice and for staying consistent with your growth. Trust is another personal value that arises from sports due to the fact that you have to be able to have trust within yourself and trust within your teammates. And patience is another value that arises from sports because you have to have patience with yourself. If you don't make everything perfect, that's going to be okay. We all make mistakes, and you have to have patience with your members of the team because they're not perfect either. Another one is confidence because you have to find confidence in yourself that you're going to be able to do it well, and confidence that in someone else that they're going to do it well. Leadership skills also arise from sports due to the fact that you have to be a leader when making ideas or play decisions. So what are some of the cultural values in sports? Sports involve any form of physical activity from dancing to boxing. However, to most people, sport means more than just a movement of the body. Sports can bring people together and give them a sense of identity. They also provide a unique sight for other people into the values held by sports playing communities. Certain sports are closely linked to particular communities and reflect the characteristics and traditions of people included. Sharing similarities with others by playing the same sport is an example of having a culture. However, most importantly, sport breaks down barriers between people of different cultures. Sport allows people to define themselves in a non-confrontational environment. So, one of the cultural values that arises is unique sport. Sports are adapted to culture. For example, some cultures do not play football with a leather ball because they believe it is wrong to kill animals for their skin. Sometimes communities have completely unique sports such as the Afro-Brazilian martial art dance named in Coperia. The sport we play are often determined by what is available to us. The sport we play are determined by our cultural environment too. Our ability to play sports is affected by any number of factors. For example, by our environment or equipment, the opinion of our elders, or our knowledge of rules. Another one is bringing people together. Sports are also cultural because they bring a lot of people into one place. These people share an interest and develop a common skill, just like when playing or listening to music together. Some people say that sport reveals something about those that play them. For example, individuals who engage with stick fighting may be seen to engage with warrior culture, or to share characteristic aggression, poise, and a tactical mind. Moving on to individual and national representation, sports can be used to promote on an agenda and represent an individual or country. Countries who play only non-contact sports might demonstrate a Pacific culture, in parentheses, non-violent. Individuals who dance might be considered with artistic, aesthetic, and spiritual elsewhere in life, as well as in their sport. Each of us have a view of certain sports and what it means to play them. This suggests that sports contain cultural values perhaps without us noticing. So let's talk about ethics in sports. Ethics in sports requires 4 key virtues: fairness, integrity, responsibility, and respect. Fairness. All athletes and coaches must follow established rules and guidelines of their respective sport. Teams that seek an unfair competitive advantage over their opponent create an uneven playing field which violates the integrity of the sport. Athletes and coaches are not discriminated against or excluded from participating in a sport based on their race, gender, or sexual orientation. Referees must apply the rules equally to both teams and cannot show bias or personal interest in the outcome. Integrity. Similar to fairness, in that any athlete who seeks to gain an advantage over his or her opponent by means of a skill that the game itself was not designed to test demonstrates a lack of personal integrity and violates the integrity of the game. For example, when a player fakes being injured or fouled in soccer, he or she is not acting in a sportsmanlike manner because the game of soccer is not designed to measure an athlete's ability to flop. Faking is a way of intentionally deceiving an official into making a bad call, which only hurts the credibility of the officiating and ultimately undermines the integrity of the game. Responsibility. To be sportsmanlike requires players and coaches to take responsibility for their performance as well as their actions on the field. This includes their emotions. Many times, athletes and coaches will make excuses as to why they lost the game. The most popular excuse is to blame the officiating. The honorable thing to do instead is to focus only on the aspects of the game that you can control. Examples of this are your performance and to question yourself about where you could have done better. Responsibility requires that players and coaches be up to date on the rules and regulations governing their sport. Responsibility demands that players and coaches conduct themselves in an honorable way off the field as well as on it. Respect. All athletes should show respect for teammates, opponents, coaches, and officials. All coaches should show respect for their players, opponents, and officials. All fans, especially parents, should show respect for other fans, as well as both teams and officials. The sportsmanship model is built on the idea that sport both demonstrates and encourages character development, which then influences the moral character of the broader community. How we each compete in sports can have an effect on our personal, moral, and ethical behavior outside of the competition. Some argue for a bracketed morality within sports. This approach holds that sport and competition are set apart from real life and occupy a realm where ethics and moral codes do not apply. Instead, some argue sports serves as an outlet for a primal aggression and a selfish need for recognition and respect gained through the conquering of an opponent. In this view, aggression and victory are the only virtues. For example, a football player may be described as mean and nasty on the field, but kind of gentle in everyday life. His violent disposition on the field is not wrong because when he's playing the game, he is part of a morally reality that is dictated only by the principle of winning. So how are these values important in life? All the values in sports are also prevalent in real life situations, just in different ways. They teach us how to be positive contributions towards society in which interacting with people is necessary. Thanks for watching. Here are my references.